Well, who's ready for some live-action Invincible? As many of you know, an Invincible live-action movie was announced way back in 2017, and we've gotten very little news on the project since that came out. Now, Invincible co-creator Robert Kirkman has shared some updates on the live-action movie, some of the major changes to the source material, and why they're going about this a different way. Now, way back when we first learned of plans for a live-action Invincible movie, this was 2017, Seth Rogen and Evan Goldberg boarded the project as writers and directors, with Point Grey Pictures and Skybound producing this for Universal. Now, at the beginning, all signs pointed this as being high priority, but sadly, it seems to have fallen off to the wayside, with focus shifting over to the Invincible television series, which is based on the comic by Robert Kirkman, Corey Walker, and Ryan Ottley. Now, there have been very few updates about the film, and basically all we know, at least based on what Kirkman recently told the direct, is, quote, it's still in development. Now, this is some good news for us fans, but then he dove into some more details that could, well, I don't know, maybe worry fans of the comics. Now, in that interview he said, we're still working with Universal. You know, the show is going so well, I think the movie absolutely has to be perfect. And so it's taking a lot of time, like getting the pieces aligned and getting everything to work so we can come out and make it as good as it can possibly be. So it's been in development for a long time, and it's probably going to be in development for a while longer. Now, in that same interview, Kirkman did drop a couple of things that could concern fans. Now, he did make it clear he wanted to, quote, provide a different experience than on the TV show and that it has to stand on its own. And maybe tell the same story, maybe tell a different story. Now, the Amazon Prime series has stuck to the comics pretty closely, minimally changing the source material. However, having an episodic television show versus a 2-hour movie, well, that allows for a lot to be unpacked, and the Invincible creator has made it pretty clear on the big screen it will be condensing, saying, that can be frustrating at times, but it's also a fun challenge. But the animated series, especially for us, I think of it as an expanding process. I think there are a lot of different scenes. If you compare them to the comic, we do more. We put more emotion in them. There's more dialogue going on. There's a little bit more of the character development. Meaning they took advantage of the animated series to give us more story. And when we finally get it on the big screen, well, I think we probably should expect less. Now, whenever comic book characters come to the big screen, well, there's always changes. And obviously, if there is condenses to that first arc, well, the big deal, I think, for them is to avoid a feeling of retreading old ground or basically repeating a television show. Now, how big will this change be? Well, that's the key question, and we don't have an answer to that as of yet. I suspect the long adaptation time basically means they've had some trouble getting the story right during this, quote, condensing process. So, ultimately, maybe this long wait is a good thing, because if the movie was just shoved out based on the original comics, just like the cartoon, I'm sure it would feel like we were seeing the same thing over and over again. And I know that probably sounds risky to studios and something that could potentially be a huge problem. Now, obviously, we're following Invincible pretty closely. I do look forward to this coming to live action, and I am curious on the work that they're doing. Hopefully, they get this right. He is a cool character. The series is a lot of fun, and I think they could have a huge hit on their hands if they handle this right. But we'll have to wait and see.